Hey guys, this is Ben with Upstart HR, and I am testing out some new video stuff, so bear with me if the sound or the video quality is a little iffy, because I'm working out the kinks and all that good stuff. I used to do a lot of video, and now I'm trying to make it a little bit better, a little more pleasant for the viewer, and get back into that a little bit anyway. So today I want to talk a little bit about the value of a good manager. The other day I was working, listened to the Freakonomics podcast, and they brought up the topic of what a good manager is worth. And I've heard, we hear all these different things about how having good supervisors is essential, but there rarely are numbers tied to that. So it's really hard to quantify the actual value. So they're talking about this research that had been done to study where this large company, they couldn't release the information or the name of the company because of the study. That was one of the things they agreed on with the researchers, was they wouldn't tell the company name, so it didn't skew anything. But they went through and looked at all their managers and all the interactions with the employees over a time period, and they said one of the things about the company was that the employees moved around every few months to a different manager, so it was really easy to track which managers had the biggest impact on the employees. And they came away with the best managers within that company they studied could have as much of an impact as 10% on the productivity of an individual person. And the amazing thing about that is that it's not because they're giving them more money, it's not because they're just handing them something, it's just the management style, what they're doing specifically, how they're leading their people is enough in some cases to get up to a 10% increase in productivity in some employees. A couple of years ago I actually heard a guy speak, Dale Dalton. He's an author, speaker, and one of the things that he talked about was, HR has been pushing for a seat at the table for years, and he said, really, just do something valuable, do something that your organization can't ignore, and you don't have to worry about being noticed anymore. And one of the things that he said that really stuck with me was, HR can focus on writing policies and doing safety trainings and trying to prevent all these things. But he said the last great frontier for HR, where you can have your biggest impact, where you can really change your organization, is in your employee productivity. If you can figure out a way to get the employee productivity up so that you're not paying them more to get more work out of them, that's where you can really show some value for the organization. That's where you can impact the bottom line, in a really tangible way, if you can impact the individual employee productivity. So that was just really an interesting concept that I was thinking about, that I'd kind of focused on, and tying those two things together. The concept of employee productivity as kind of the frontier for HR to really make some impact to the organization, as well as the study that showed that managers could have that great of an impact on productivity. The last thing I wanted to talk about was something similar, where they were talking about, within that study, how the employees moved around different managers every so often. That reminded me of another study that I've read about. It's in the book All In, by Chester Elton and Adrian Gostick. All In, I've done a book review on it, upstarthr.com/book reviews, and you will get there. And the link is there to find that book review. But in the book, they talk about a study, the Red-Green study, where they went through this organization and looked and saw where the productivity was the lowest, the turnover was the highest, just the places where employees couldn't get out of there fast enough. And they labeled them red zones. Then they went through and looked at the places where employees were trying to transfer into, where the turnover was the lowest in the whole organization, and they called them green zones. And they took the managers of the green zones and the red zones and swapped them out. And within a few months, all of the green zones are red, and all the red zones are green. And their takeaway from that, and my takeaway from that study, was that managers can matter so much for how much you can get out of an employee. A great manager can get even more out of someone than you thought you could get out of them in the first place. A really bad manager can completely destroy productivity, wreck your engagement plans, things like that, just because the people start to hate coming to work and things like that. We've all had bad managers at some point, so that's kind of the key there. But I just kind of tied those different things together. That was really an interesting kind of concept, and I would love to learn more about how HR can work with managers to help them get more productivity out of their employees, whether that's getting higher engagement and the people are willing to give more effort and things like that, or if it's something else. I'm not sure, but that's something that I'd really love to learn more about, and I plan on doing some research on myself. So anyway, hope you enjoyed the video, and thank you for your time.